Hello and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Bethel Evangelical Free Church, Hanley. I'm Pastor Gervais Charmley. This is another video in the Derbyshire Churches series, and this is the Church of St John the Baptist, Boylestone. This is a largely 14th century building with some interesting 19th century alterations, which we'll see as we go around. It's right in the middle of the village. In fact, it's kind of like a traffic island. There are roads all the way around this plot of land that contains the old school, it's now the village hall, and the church, and of course the graveyard. And it has been at the centre of the village, spiritually of course, for hundreds of years. The earliest recorded ministry here is back in the 14th century, which is looking at this building when most of it dates from. You can see we've got nice whitewashed walls here. We haven't got the stripped walls that the Victorians seem just to have rejoiced in. We have instead a building that's much more, well, I'm biased, but sensible, should we say. Well, let's have a look around and explore this interesting building together. As usual, we begin at the west end. These here, you see these staves with their tops. These are the church wardens' staffs, and one of them is the vicar's warden, the other the people's warden. We have a number of memorials at the back here. Here is sacred to the memory of George Chawner of Sudbury Wood, who died November the 17th, 1807, aged 59 years. Also of Elizabeth, his wife, who died November the 30th, 1855, in the 96th year of her age, so she very much outlived him. Also their second son, Lieutenant Andrew Chawner, of HM 61st Regiment, who fell at the Battle of Salamanca on the 22nd of July 1812 in the 28th year of his age. And we have more Chawners here. They seem certainly one of the notable local families. We have the other side, the War Memorial. You have your just three men who were killed in the war, and then the great list of all the other men who fought and who came home, and then at the bottom, these three also responded to their country's call and returned home. It does all look to be the same sort of date. Essentially, these are the three who were left out of the original. But here we have, from the Second World War now, Corporal Leslie Arthur Wallace, Royal Engineers, who gave his life for his country on D-Day, June the 6th, 1944. This tablet was erected and the electric light installed by the parishioners of Boylestone. Behind you can see the outline of a door that doesn't exist anymore. We have this single aisle. This is on the south side, a south aisle, and that has had its plaster taken off. You can see an old oil lamp there converted to electricity. And here's the north door. It's now got this old north doorway. It's now got the water pipes in it, and this old Sunday school, well, piece. It's a little bit hippie, isn't it, with that design? But is it supposed to be the CND, Christian CND? Could be. But anyway, you can just see there at the opening for the drawbar that would have barred the door when it was closed, so barred from the inside. And nice, peaceful. They've still got some Christmas lights up, haven't taken them down yet. It is difficult getting people to do it. And here we have pews with doors, box pews in fact. You can just see there probably are older box pews that have been cut down, but they are proper box pews here. And the point about the doors is these are the pews that were let. So you paid your money and you got your pew. And if you didn't pay your money, you got your seats at the back, which are open, they don't have doors. And these seats in the middle that don't have doors, these would be the free seats. But the people who paid for their seats, they got the ones with doors. And the doors indicate, now this is somebody's pew, don't take it unless you're allowed to. Here we have Herbert Croft, later the 6 Clerks Office, London, by his first wife Elizabeth Young of Midhurst in Sussex. He left 4 children, Herbert, Grace, Mary and Richard. By his second wife Mary Chawner of Harehill in this county, one child, Elizabeth. So, and there we have memorial, the commandments, Lord's Prayer, etc. That the etc. would really just be the creed, I expect, as a memorial to late Jane Chawner. So all these Chawners, clearly are the local big family. We proceed to the front. You can just, there we are. There's the Lord's Prayer and the Creed, and there's a modern electric organ in the middle. We'll have a look at the font later. There is a nice eagle lectern, Victorian pulpit, and into the chancel, which again it has had all the plaster taken off. You see how rough the stonework is. This stonework wasn't supposed to be seen. It was supposed to be hidden by plaster, which was then painted over. We have this window is in memory of Robert and Maria Tyson by their son, Fyson, sorry, by their son N.I. Hill Fyson, M.A., rector and patron. Well, that put him in a good position. The patron's the person who appoints the rector. And so if he had the right of appointment, he could then appoint his own successor when he retired, or, well, maybe he appointed himself. He wasn't supposed to, but people did sometimes. There's this nice 14th century arcade. See, at the back again, they've stripped off the plasterwork, and it's just this middle bit that's still got its lovely whitewash. Here we have Elijah being taken up to heaven in a chariot, and that would be, I expect, yes, in memory of Tansley Hall, M.A., for over 30 years, rector and patron of this parish. And he died when? It's hard to see with his reflection. 1893, aged 81. And there he is, and there is the ascension into heaven, taking him into heaven of Elijah. More memorials to rectors. Here we have one of the things you can do with your nice Victorian altar. You've got your nativity scene. They've got the nativity scene inside it. Then above, carving of the Lords of the Last Supper. Do this in remembrance of me. There's a tomb recess. There's nothing in it at the moment. Roger Bickerstaff, 20 years rector, and he, during which time he was the means, through the aid of kind friends, of restoring and mainly rebuilding this church, erecting the schools, and by him the east window was presented. He died 23rd November 1861, aged 81. So there's a lot of long-lived rectors here. And Nicholas Isaac Hill Tyson, for 12 years curate and 30 years rector and patron. So yes, what they do is they'd appoint the curate then, and the curate would then take over in time. We've got a piscina there, Reverend Thomas Gell, 26 years rector of this parish, who died January the 2nd, 1834, aged 64. Looking all the way west, and it's obviously Roger Bickerstaff is the man who's responsible for the way it looks now. The roof, the seating, so much of this is his work. We have here the Reverend Carter Fletcher, patron and rector of this church, died July the 11th, 1808, aged 76. And there again, this tomb recess carving. It's not, I mean, it looks to me like it's probably something that's been bought from a London or provincial shop that sells these things. It's not probably something that's been done specifically for this building. So we go back into the nave. We are John the Baptist and Elijah the prophet. And of course John the Baptist is the one who appears in the spirit and power of Elijah. He's not Elijah, but he is, as it were, the eschatological Elijah. And here we have the font, a nice sturdy octagonal piece. A nice Victorian. Oh, there's an aisle here that I hadn't noticed. I'm all right. And there we have the cross, the chancel arch with the pulpit and lectern on either side. So it's a nice piece, that. Well, where are we? Oh yes, Maria Barker of Tutbury. The above William Barker by will left the proceeds of certain property in trust for the benefit of this church and contingently the Sunday school belonging there too. So here we have and the church wasn't also charged with the maintenance and preservation of this tablet, so you can't take it away. Here, unusually, there is a scythe. This would have been used for cutting the churchyard. Most churches would have had them, because that's your ancient lawnmower, that's your Victorian, rather, lawnmower. But of course, most of them, they've just gone the way of all flesh. But here, they've kept the scythe in the church. Well, there we are, that's the inside. Let's go outside and see what we can see out there. Also, here we are outside at Boylestone. I didn't realise I'm going to be in the shade here, but never mind. What we really want to look at is the church. And you can see Mr. Bickerstaff, Roger Bickerstaff, has given this church a very interesting profile with its slender tower here, and I mean, what you appear to have here is that what he's done is he's put a nose on and put this tower on. Originally, it would have had no tower. So this is the outside. Let's have a look around and see what we can see. And so here we are looking at the outside of Mr. Bickerstaff's interesting church, because Mr. Bickerstaff has gone, well, what we need a tower. Where should we put the tower? And whereas nearby Somershall Herbert, at the beginning of the 20th century, they said, well, what we'll do is we'll put a west tower in. What he's done is he's put a sort of tower porch in at the end of the south aisle. The aisle, as we've seen, is medieval. This is 14th century by the look of it. That's going to be the parsonage, the old rectory over there. Just up there, you can just see through the trees. Obviously it's a private house now, as so many of them are. A slender tower is quite a striking local landmark, because the church is on, let's just pan out here, you can just see, the church is on an elevated site. So that is, this is the south side. There would, I suppose, have been a door. I mean, given that marking on the inside of the building, it suggests that there was a door on the south side of the original West End, about where the tower is now. But the building east of the tower is, certainly the structure is medieval. I mean, that's 14th century masonry all along there. You can just see here that there is a gate. That's the gate into the old rectory gardens. Obviously we don't look through there because it is somebody's house. It's a private residence. These days you have that wonderful tower, not medieval style at all, but rather fun. And here we are under the great yew tree. You find yew trees in churchyards. They're very much a symbol of the old churchyard. And here we have the chancel and nave. And all this is, you think originally there would have been simply a little bell cot at the west end. This is the north side, which is, as is quite common, not exciting, because it's the north side. It doesn't need to be exciting, and it doesn't face towards anything important. You can just see there the north doorway. Ah yes, the north doorway is blocked up, and the entrance to the boiler house, oh, sorry about the sun there, can't do a lot about it. The entrance to the boiler house is just underneath, and there's the great big oil tank. It's oil-fired heating here. You need heating. It is very, very cold. It is January, midday January, and you can see that there's a little medieval window up there, and the whole of the west end, the west wall, has been rebuilt by Mr. Bickerstaff. And Mr. Bickerstaff has then made the entrance in the base of the tower. It's quite understated, the entrance here. So you go up to it, and again it's a bird door. This is to keep birds out. And you come in, and this is none other than the house of God. And every Sunday there's a service here at 9:30 in the morning, service of morning prayer. It's a lovely, lovely January day and a beautiful day to visit this part of Derbyshire. And we're still not very far from the last church we visited. This is still the same day. All of these make a very interesting tour. Well, we'll just say a few words. I'll just say a few words in closing, and then it'll be the end of this video. So there we have it, Boylestone, St John the Baptist, a church that owes its appearance today to one man, to the Reverend Roger Bickerstaff. And what a building he has given us. A medieval church with this great big Victorian front slapped onto it, which sounds crueler than it is. It's actually quite an attractive building in some ways. Still in use today, like so many of these. Again, encourage anyone who can to visit these places. They are lovely buildings and they are open for visitors, and they help us. And it obviously helps the congregations here. I can't tell you what the teaching here is like. There's no obvious evidence it's Anglo-Catholic or anything particular. It's just sort of seems to be kind of average Anglican. But there we are, St John the Baptist, Boylestone. Well, thank you for watching. If you enjoy these videos, I enjoy making them. It's great to come out on a lovely morning afternoon like this now, a lovely day like this, and just enjoy the beauties of Derbyshire. So again, thank you for watching, and may God bless you, keep you, and hopefully see you in the next video.